title of today's lecture is A Totally New Approach to Education. A totally new approach to education. So you have three requirements. Whatever else you do, you're going to have it in business, PR, and you're going to have it in success management. So you know how to get past your own blocks to your success. Well, that's unheard of. Because why? Why are we adding that? The reason we're adding that is we want you to be able to not only get a job if you so desire, but more importantly, equip you to be in business with that certification, whatever it is. So you're not dependent on somebody hiring you. You certainly want to have that as an option. And let me tell you something. Even if you go into business, in whatever field you went into, health and fitness, longevity and anti-aging, whatever it is, and let's say it didn't work out, but then you go and apply for a job, you've had a hands-on experience in your certification program, then you had hands-on experience afterwards. Certainly I, as an employer, would rather have you working in my business than somebody who doesn't have those experiences. So it really puts you way ahead of the game for many employers. Not all, but for many. Those who realize the importance of hands-on, even if you had some failure experiences, because we learn from those failures. I have a lecture called How to Harness the Hidden Power of Failure. And it's like my father said to me, son, I have a lot of good advice to give you. Not because I've been so smart, it's just I've been so stupid. And so when you go out and you're making errors, for every success, it's good to fail, good to make mistakes. That's part of the success management. You have to be able to harness that and move with it. Most people fail in business because they don't know how to derive strength from their failures. We show people the path of how to achieve that. We actually show people how to gain power and strength from failure and setbacks instead of being defeated by it. That's part of the board certification in success management. And nobody teaches that. No program teaches how to gain power from failure. The importance of failure towards moving you and motivating you and educating you towards your success. Nobody. And people fold for two reasons: lack of capital, and even more importantly, an inability to deal with setbacks and failures. That's by far the biggest one. So that's why I call this a totally new approach to education. Why in the world would you have people go through a business program or any program and not teach them also, give them a knowledge, or let them have a situation where they can learn how to be in business with that and have their own business, not just have to work with somebody? That's absent. And that's a tremendous disservice to the students who are investing huge amounts of money, who are coming out of school tremendously in debt, and they don't even know how to fend for themselves and set up their own business. What a disservice to say the implicit message is you're going to receive this education as if you can get an education and have an education, which you really can't. You can just integrate an educational process. You're going to have this, and that's your only option. The implicit message is you want this education and you'll go get a job, a good job. And of course, it's hard to get right now during this period. And you get a good job. What a disservice, because that's the implied message. It's not explicitly stated. They don't say, listen, folks, do not consider going to business for yourself. Do not consider that. They don't make that overt statement, but it's implied. Here's this knowledge, and no guidance is given on what to do with it. The idea being the implicit knowledge, the implicit ideas that you're going to use this knowledge to get a good job, get a good career. They don't even talk about fulfilling a career, a calling, or a destiny. They don't even take it that far. You can have a good career. Even you see advertisements, trade schools and colleges and universities, get a good career. Make a good livelihood, do something you love to do, get a good job, get a good career. Now, one of them talks about fulfilling your calling in life, fulfilling your destiny in life, and in addition to getting a good career or destiny or calling, you can also have your own enterprise. And we're going to give you tools and experiences to facilitate that. What a disservice. Well, in the totally new approach to education that I'm advocating at the Nerenberg Institute and my other institutes that I'm involved with, the Global Academy, we haven't figured the name was Global Academy, Global Institute, but the other institutes, the educational institutions that I'm involved with, Uh, this is part of it. This is exciting. This is truly exciting. What about you, Mary? Are you excited by this?
Oh yeah, definitely I am.
You should be excited. So there we have it. That now, Mary, what kind of feelings did you get? Passing thoughts, feelings, little ideas. Talk to me about your reactions to what I'm saying.
Well, the whole concept I think is a good concept. All around with the education because um, I think it's good. You have very good ideas. I think the structure is good. Um, and going back to talking about memorization and that, on the whole, I think you're made to learn not by memorizing, but by learning. Through inspiration, through
Inspiration and doing, hands-on doing.
yeah, and that's how I learn best. Actually, is by hands-on and and by experiencing it, and because memorization doesn't do me any good. Um,
Yeah, certain facts you need to know, but it's certainly valuable. But certain, for instance, certain medications as a nurse you need to know and so forth. I need to know certain diagnostic categories. But most of what we do really goes beyond the memorization. Certainly, most of
tell
what we
you
do.
something. I went to two different schools for nursing. The first school I went to, I failed because the way they had it set up is it's like nothing really lined up. The stuff that you say, okay, we learned in like in pharmacy, the different medications. It didn't interact. It didn't kind of coincide with what we were learning in illnesses. But when I went to the other school that I did so well in, it's like everything was integrated and everything made more sense. You know,
Well, that's good. So certainly that was a step up. But even so, even with the improvement that you talked about, we talked about how these other ideas were absent. The idea of questioning, the idea of learning through inspiration, the idea of knowledge for a lifetime, the idea of teaching what you learn to others, the idea of creating jobs in addition to getting jobs. All of these ideas were not an even the good approaches. Hugh, what any comments and questions you have about the proposal that I've made for a totally new approach to education?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you consider that most people think Lincoln was the best president, he never saw the inside of a classroom.
He was saying, is that Mike picking you up? Or do I need to be? He was saying that President Lincoln, never saw the inside of a classroom.
And also, the richest man in America dropped out of college.
And the richest man in college, who's that, Gates? Bill Gates?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates dropped out of college. So there you have it. They certainly have learned. I know my father never finished high school. He was working since he was 12 years old to help support his mother because his father died at an early age. And he became a multimillionaire, just working hard, applying himself, staying focused, making his business a priority in his life. And he achieved that. And there are many stories. He's one of many stories like that.
Learning from his failures.
He learned a lot from his failures. And more importantly, the failures didn't stop him. Now, my father used to say this. He said, we Nurembergs have to work for ourselves. It's in our blood. And besides, when we work for other people, they fire us. So that turned out to be a plus, but that's again, and I was fired from jobs, he was fired from jobs, but certainly that just motivated us to move forward and, as they say, one door closing, another door opening, and certainly gaining power from hardship. I gained great power from hardship. Is one of the key aspects is the power thought that needs to be repeated throughout one's life all day long, at least 7 times a day. I gained great power from hardship, and I'm thankful. I gained great power from hardship, and I'm thankful. I call that the warrior's power thought. I go into lectures about how to integrate that so it becomes a part of us, but you want to aspire for twice an hour. That's an important way to integrate the setbacks. It's part of the whole success management certification. is using that power thought, the warrior's power thought, seeking to gain power from hardship and setbacks and failures. This is a person really needs that to succeed in whatever educational program or whatever career or job or calling or destiny. Any comments, any further comments or questions before we end this part on the totally new approach to education? You, any comments or questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank you, those of you in the room, those listening on CD, those watching on DVD. It's been my privilege and my honor to present the material on a totally new approach to education.